Perfect. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to talk to a couple of the representatives today from the Evergreen Community. And what we're going to do is just get started, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do in the community and how long you've been there. And then we will jump in and talk about the community itself.
All right, thank you so much, Olga. My name is Sarah. I'm the sales and marketing manager here at Evergreen Retirement Community in Mississauga. I've been here for about 2.5 years, and I work with prospects who are looking to move into Evergreen to find their home, and I work with them to make the process as easy and wonderful and great of an experience as possible.
Yeah, and my name is Pritesh. I am fairly new here. I've been here for just over 4.5 months. I'm getting my feet wet, and I'm learning quite a bit about this industry, and I'm helping out, as Sarah mentioned, new residents, new prospects who are inquiring about retirement living.
Perfect. Well, tell us a little bit about your community. What do you find really cool about it that you would want the seniors and the families to know?
We have a really great social group here at Evergreen, especially pre-COVID. We were known very well for our entertainment, and we're looking forward to having that, slowly come back as we can. And at least twice a week, we would have entertainment, and we would have everyone down in our town square, as we call it, which is our main living room area, and would have different performers, singers, jugglers, just some acting, just whatever it was that week. And we got great turnout. We'd have some treats, some goodies, and have a lot of fun. We also have a swimming pool, and we also have a bowling alley. So those are some really fun activities that we have that make Evergreen a bit unique from other retirement communities. So those are some of the wonderful things about Evergreen. Plus our staff is top notch, and they absolutely love our residents and will do anything they can to make the residents' day.
Yes, well, of course, you mentioned COVID, and all of us have been impacted by it. How has your community dealt with making sure that you are keeping the residents safe? What is your status on your vaccinations? Just tell us a little bit about your procedures.
Yeah, for sure. So like everyone else, COVID did hit the community, but luckily we had no resident cases at all up to this point. Our residents and staff began getting vaccinated almost a year ago now, back in January. So we got that done. Now we have some COVID mandates when it comes to vaccination. So all staff has to be vaccinated. So that is now complete. All new residents moving in also must be vaccinated. All visitors to the building also must be vaccinated. So our residents are vaccinated, our staff are, and anyone new coming in the building is as well.
Okay, that sounds great. So that way you're keeping your residents safe, and of course anybody that visits as well. How has this impacted your social activities? I know everybody had to pivot. Is your pool still open? Your bowling alleys where you expect a lot of people? What are your procedures and requirements that are set for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our pool is open, and so is our bowling alley. We do have appointment based at the moment. So we just call down to our life enrichment team, who's in charge of all of the activities, to make an appointment to use it, but it's definitely available and open for resident use. And all of our activities follow along any COVID protocols as per the government that they lay out about how many people and whatnot that we're allowed to have in different spaces.
Great, great. So let's talk about if someone, family, and loved ones are doing the research for their family member. And I know that a lot of people right now may be choosing in terms of thinking about those dining options, right? Talking about options and so forth. If someone has some dietary restrictions, maybe they're vegan or they need to be gluten-free, is this something that your dining services can accommodate them for, to make sure that their medical history and their medical conditions are also of importance and kind of kept on track?
Absolutely. So when we have a new resident or potential resident that comes to talk to Prit or I, and they have any sort of restrictions like you were mentioning, we would then talk to our dining team. We would let them know about what the restrictions were. We would discuss it. We may bring the dining team in to talk to the family, just so that they feel good about the different options that we have for them. And then they also have there is going to be like a food profile on file for them, so that our dining team does know, for instance, if they're allergic to sea fish or something, it would be posted in the kitchen so that they would know that and they would be aware. So definitely something that we take seriously and that we are willing to work with and accommodate.
Gotcha.
I just may add on that question. Our kitchen staff also has a POS system that also has a picture of each residence and a dietary restriction. So even if a new kitchen staff were to be new to the kitchen, they would be well informed of their dietary restrictions while serving them. So we use technology to our advantage there.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. And my next question is, it just slipped my mind. So let's just move on to the different, another question that I have. If, the family is doing their research, what kind of availability do you have right now? Because I can see that you have different styles of suites and studios that are available. So if someone needed to get their loved one moved in quickly, what do you have that you would be able to share with them as availability in your community?
Sure, absolutely. So in Evergreen, we have, in our independent living, we have studios, we have 1-bedrooms, alcoves, which is a sort of a 1-bedroom, but the bedroom doesn't have a window in it. So it's called an alcove. We also have one in dens, and we have 2 bedrooms. So I currently do have some availability in a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. So if somebody was interested in a quick move, then that's definitely something that we could accommodate and we'd be willing to work with for sure.
Okay. And are there any specific units that maybe are really popular that you are currently have a waiting list for?
Yeah, so our alcoves tend to be very popular. So those will have a bit of a waiting list. And we have one in dens, like the corner suites also tend to be popular. So we tend to have a waiting list there. But that's definitely no problem that we can discuss and show and work with the family to get somebody to move in as quickly as they would along for their timeline.
Got it. And that was actually the question that I meant to ask you is, can you tell me a little bit about what the campus looks like? Is it, do you have long-term care wing? Like I'm thinking, I always talk about communities as a campus where you might have different, one would be maybe independent living, independent care, and something else could be for more, where there's more care that is needed for the resident. What do you have in your community?
Sure. We have independent living, we have what we call full care, and we also have assisted living. So we're a 10-story building. So our independent residents live on the 3rd to the 10th floor. And then you can also have full service at that point, which means that you would add on some services from us. So you would still be living on the independent floor, but you might need some help with certain things like perhaps medications. Then we could add on that service to the cost of the independent, and then that would be considered full service. Then we also have an assisted living floor, which is our 2nd floor. So that floor is for people that just need a little bit more help on a day-to-day basis. And that floor also has its own dining room and its own activity area as well. So that's sort of the layout. And then our main floor is all of our amenities, our dining room, our swimming pool, library, craft area, all of that is on our main level.
And everybody has access to that, right?
Correct.
Do you have a floor that is dedicated to what we call memory care?
So we have assisted living.
Okay.
And we are able to help people on that floor that do have cognitive decline. If there were people that just were needing a little bit more and needing the memory care portion, then we do have a sister site that would be able to accommodate them.
So someone, let's say the family is thinking that right now the loved one is looking for just independent living. However, down the road, because of the health concerns, they may need to transition into more and more assisted care. They can do this all in one in your community. It's just the loved one is going to be able to move from one floor to the next as the care is needed in progression, right?
Absolutely. So if your loved one moved in and they were perfectly mobile and no issues, then they could start on their independent, and as their health potentially declined, we could start adding services in You can get some government services in from what we call the LIN. And you can also bring in some private caregivers if you would like. So you have some options on how you'd like to provide care to your family member. And then once they get to that point, then we can have them on the wait list to go to the assisted living floor. And once a room opens up, we could move them there.
Okay, so that floor does have a waiting list.
Absolutely, yes. The assisted living floor will have a waiting list.
Can you
yes.
give me an idea what the time frame is roughly on what can someone expect?
The time frame for assisted living, it's a little bit hard to say, but it could be about 6 months.
6 months. Okay. And in terms of social activities, I know you guys are famous for that and you have some really cool things. I'm sure you have some kind of a weekly calendar that you share with your residents. Do you do any kind of trips? Like, for example, you have a bus that you would provide and maybe you'll take them to, I don't know, to Toronto or to some kind of a, shopping experience to the mall or something like that, where residents can, have a field trip, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a shuttle that and a driver that's included in the cost of your rent. So we provide on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we provide transportation to doctor's appointments within the Mississauga area. And then on Tuesdays, they go shopping. And on Thursdays, it goes on trips. Now, at the moment, the trips have not started again due to COVID, but we do look forward to having those trips start up again.
Well, that sounds pretty good. That way they can plan some kind of activities, or maybe they can, plan to go out shopping and so forth. So that way they have more of a, I'm thinking like physical moving, like where they can actually get on the shuttle and go somewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay. I know that one of the things that I wanted to get clarification on is, what is the difference between long-term care and overall retirement living? Can you just give me like a general, like if a family would be asking you about that, how would you explain that to them so they feel comfortable with everything?
Right. So retirement living, if you come to Evergreen and you're looking for retirement, we describe it like it is a cruise ship, an all-inclusive cruise ship, right? You're basically going on vacation. You have a beautiful setting that you're living in. You got all your meals prepared for you. You don't need to worry about housekeeping. There's nurses here if you're feeling ill. There's activities going on at all the time. So it's this all-inclusive price for a fun, enjoyable sort of cruise-like atmosphere. Long-term care is government funded. It is more of a hospital type setting. And it does tend to be for people that have gone past the ability to care for themselves on a day-to-day basis and are really in need of more help from more specialized individuals like behavior specialists, doctors that may be there, and so forth.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. So when you're talking about completely independent living, someone lives in their one-bedroom apartment, for example, do they have let's say if they need access to a doctor or to a nurse, is that automatically included, or those services usually are provided like a la carte as you need them, and then the resident can pick and choose what is needed and when?
So if in an emergency, our nursing staff is always available. All of our residents receive a pendant. And so if they fell or if they were feeling ill, they could push that pendant and our nursing staff would attend to them to see if they're okay or whatnot. If they needed nursing services, for instance, perhaps they need a PSW to help them shower or something like a regularly scheduled service from our nursing team, that would be a charge for them. As for a doctor, we do have a doctor that visits us once a week. He is covered by OHIP, so it is free of charge under your OHIP card. And to see him, you do need to make him your family doctor. There's no obligation to do that by moving here, but many of our residents do find it very convenient to have their doctor come to Evergreen and visit in-house. We also do now have an option that's brand new to join a private health care group. So for a monthly fee, they would be able to have access to the private group as well.
Excellent. And I know you mentioned an acronym PSW. Can you just tell me what that means?
PSW, yes, personal support worker.
Got it. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure what the W stand for. Okay.
Yes.
So do you have anything exciting that may be planned for the rest of the year for next year that the community is doing to make improvements or to do anything else, any new things that you have maybe coming up?
Sure, we're working on renovating some of our suites.
Mhm.
So we're doing some full renovations on some of our suites, and they're looking really, really wonderful. For once they're done, we've changed the color scheme and everything, so they're got a more modern look to them, and they're looking very, very beautiful. And then there's always continuous improvement that is happening to make sure that the building is kept up to date and is looking good.
Which actually reminds me, the question that I forgot to ask you was about technology. Is
Mhm.
there, like, I know that some of the other communities that I spoke with, they have like Amazon Alexa style systems in their rooms that allows them to be able to find, rather than, reading something or looking stuff up, they'll be able to kind of say, hey, what is the schedule this week for activities? Or they can say, when is the shuttle schedule? What kind of technology do you provide to your residents, maybe in their rooms, and also what is available in like community facilities?
Yeah, I can take this. So all of our residents right now, the TV and cable is included
Mhm.
in the price. So that's fully included. Right now, we are hopefully working towards getting more like used to having Alexa in our suites, but we haven't gotten to that point as of yet. We're slowly making our way there. Our life enrichment team are currently working with all of our residents to provide training and support while using a computer.
Mhm.
So that is our first step into actually getting used to navigating through a laptop, navigating through a computer, sending emails, receiving emails, introducing a little bit of social media to our residents. And so we're introducing that to our residents at first, and hopefully when they become a little bit more proactive on that end, we can introduce them to Alexa and all of the cool electronics that we use at our household.
I know that it takes time to get our seniors to start using some
Exactly.
of those things and feel comfortable. I think that's
Right.
the big thing completely. So if a family or a family member want to visit you, what is the best way to get in touch with you? If you want to provide your contact information, how do they need to schedule an appointment? What is the best way to get to know more about your community?
Okay, so the best way to come for a tour with Critter Eye is to give us a call at 905-502-8882. Again, that's 905-502-8882. So you can give us a call and reception will put you through to us. You can also Google Evergreen Retirement Community, and you can look us up on our website, Verve, verveseniorliving.com. So those are the best ways to get a hold of us here at Evergreen.
So once the family reaches out to you and schedule the appointment, are they able to tour a lot of the facilities because of the COVID procedures, or some of them are still going to be a little bit restricted?
So they'll be able to see the majority of the community. There are obviously some restrictions. There is screening at the front. There is mask wearing, all of the normal procedures with COVID, but they will be able to get a good idea of the community.
Excellent, excellent. So share with me, is there anything else that maybe I haven't asked you that you would like me to know, and other potential families you would like to know about your community?
Sure. Evergreen is a wonderful community that is very multicultural. We have quite a large Italian population as well. So there's lots of different people that you can get to know and become friends with. We're very conveniently located about 10 minutes between Credit Valley Hospital and the Mississauga Hospital. So they're very well located for that. Also very conveniently located between two shopping areas, Square One Mall and Heartland Town Center. So that's very convenient as well. We're off the major highways. So we are in between the 403 and the 401 and the 407 are all very easily accessible. Even the QEW is not too far away. And we're about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from Pearson International Airport as well. So we're in a very great location that's very convenient for everyone. About half an hour, 20 minutes from Toronto as well. So there's lots of easily accessible things here in Evergreen, and easy to get to from any location.
I love it. I love when you're in a really good location and you have access to everything. I think that's super important for seniors who still want to stay active and make sure that, you know, they're staying busy. We want them to stay busy, I think.
It's also quite important because we have different family members who are in different areas of the city.
Mhm.
And a lot of the siblings are in one area versus the other area. And this is a good central point for a lot of the family members to agree on for their parents too. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, these are all the questions that I had for you. Again, I appreciate you sharing with us about your community. I think it's important to know for family members and for their loved ones what the options are, and also do the research, right? I always
Absolutely.
encourage them to do the research. And also, Sarah, I think you'll agree with me that people should start doing the research earlier than when they feel
Absolutely.
they should be. That's what I encourage a lot of the clients that I work with and the family members is you can never start too early. This way, when you have the research and you have the information, then you can make the best decisions versus waiting until it might be too late. And then you have to run around and then make decisions that may not be best for the family member.
Absolutely.
Do you have any tips on that? Maybe something that you can share for our family members on, you know, some of the research they can do about which community may be right for their family members.
For sure. I would suggest hitting up Google and typing in retirement homes near me or best retirement homes in Mississauga, whatnot, and you'll get a number of them that will pop up, and you'll be able to take a look at their websites. Most communities' websites are very descriptive and are full of information. If you want more, please pick up the phone and give that community a call. Both Prit and I would be happy to talk to you, and would be happy to provide information. It's okay if you're not looking for tomorrow. If you're looking for a year from now, that's fine. We'd still be happy to discuss Evergreen with you and to help provide any other information that we can, whether it be downsizing companies or moving companies or whatever it is that you might be looking for. We'd be happy to discuss and help make the transition easy and the planning for the transition to be easy.
You're absolutely right. And then once they get the information from the internet, I think it's also important to come and visit the community to get a
Absolutely.
feel, right? Because it's
Yep.
very difficult sometimes. The pictures look great, but everybody's opinion on what is their comfort level and where they want to be is different. So visiting the community, kind of seeing who's there, maybe talking to some of the residents is also a good idea.
Absolutely. Visiting the communities really gives you a great feel. And sometimes you can just walk in and decide, yes, this is the community I want to be in, just because of the feel that you get when you walk in the door. So definitely go for a tour, check out the location. And I know we would be happy to show anyone around for a tour if they gave us a call.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking the
All right.
time to tell us a little bit about your community. And of course, we will post all the contact information that you provided as well. And we hope that you have a busy rest of the year and safe rest of the year for sure.
thank
That's what
you.
all of us are important to us. All right. Well, thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much. Yep. My pleasure. Absolutely. And we'll talk soon again. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks,
bye-bye.
Olga.
Bye.